And then I make you the host. Great. All right. So welcome everybody. Welcome Alyssa. And welcome to those of you who are catching the recording. Because I've got this wind in the background, I am going to lead us in really, really quickly because I feel like it might be a bit distracting. So let's just take 3 of these breaths that we work with. So wherever you are, even if there's children around, just take a moment to feel your sit bones on the ground, feel the edges of your body, and begin to breathe deeply right down into the base of the perineum and fill the whole body up with your breath, bottom, middle, right up to the top, and hold for a moment. Feel yourself full of life force. And then gently, slowly exhale. Hey, Lisa. And we'll just take 2 more breaths like that. So deep breath in. Hold at the top. Just feel that sensation of pressing against the edges of your being. And then a very slow exhale out. And perhaps for the last breath, bringing in whatever quality, whatever feeling you'd like to really invite into you for the next hour and a half. Big breath in. Hold. And exhale. And if you can keep your eyes closed for a moment and your heart open, I'll just read our Remembrance Full Manifesto. So just allow these words to soak into your cells as we gather together this afternoon. So remembrance is a circle of safety, connection, kinship, sacred tending, and love. We come together to speak and to listen, to hold and be held, and we do so with a deep commitment to open-heartedness, truth, self-responsibility, and loving intentions towards ourselves and others. We acknowledge and honor the traditional and sovereign custodians for us here at Dharawal and their unbroken and ongoing connection to land, water, sky, and spirit. Through our heartfelt recognition, we plant the seeds of returning to our own ancestral heritage of reciprocal relationship and tending to the earth. We embark on this journey not to arrive at a final destination, but instead as an apprenticeship of how to walk the path. We are a powerful circle of women who trust there is enough time for us to slow down, get present, listen to ourselves, discern what is true for us, whilst building our courage and capacity to follow it. We know the medicine the world needs right now is found in women returning to a regulated, unrushed relationship with themselves and the living world around them, founded on love, truth, courage, and creativity. As women of remembrance and reclamation, we trust ourselves and our process implicitly. We tend ourselves, our nervous systems, our families, and our communities, and of course, the land on which we walk. We trust our medicine because we are quiet enough to hear our deep intrinsic wisdom, humble enough to listen for our own unique song, and bold enough to sing it in harmony with the great song of this world, even when it's tough, because we will only create a life we can truly belong to. We are committed to living lives built on truth that feel like a full heart and a welcome home, no matter how big or small they may appear on the outside. We are stewarding true eldership no matter our age, and we are committed to open-hearted, interconnected, and regenerative living as we show others how to walk the path through both our humble and bold embodiment. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and exhale. All right. Thank you to those of you who are here live. We have the beautiful Rosalia from Sacred Overflow Academy here with us this afternoon. So Rosalia is going to be sharing with us all things the medicine of the womb and the sacredness of the womb, and I think, doing a little bit of womb clearing work with us. So I'm going to hand over to her. And I hope I'm sure we'll all enjoy it. And thank you so much for being here, Rosalia.
Thank you for having me. I almost forgot that I was here to speak. I loved your words, Kelly. Your words are always, you have a way with them. So my name's Rosalia. I always start with however I'm feeling at the moment, which is, I suppose, an ode to my devotion to embodiment and showing up exactly as I am. So I am happily nervous to be here with you all, but the beating in my heart and my womb, I'm channeling that into a deep connection to feel that with you rather than take it on as an external sense of nerves, and just to kind of shake it out for myself. And I think I'll start with a little bit of my journey, I suppose, into how I came into the womb work. So I, for most of my life, was very much in a masculine state through, like upbringing of traumas, different kinds of abuse. And I think that a lot of women can connect with on different levels. It doesn't have to be experienced all in the same way. Can you hear me fine, by the way?
Yep.
Okay, good. Of how that can affect you, and not just your own upbringing, but also the way that society is, to kind of shift you into that box of doing, rushing, shielding, armoring, and not leaning into our softness, which I'm sure that this is all, you're towards the end of your remembrance journey, and you've obviously all followed a thread here. So that's surely not going to be news to you. But if we were to consider it the thread itself, that truly is how it came into my life. It's not something that was looked for, which is a big component of feminine embodiment and feminine healing. The masculine approach to things is often to go kind of like pick and find and really search for, what belief do I have to improve? What part of myself can I heal and transmute, and this and that? Whereas the feminine approach, it kind of comes up when it comes up, and it's up to you to, pick up that thread, rather than a forceful approach of healing or looking. You are just sitting back and allowing what is naturally moving at any relevant point in your life to pick it up. And that's what happened for me on my journey. I actually couldn't even tell you how it happened, but the book Magdalene Mysteries came into my path. Magdalene Mysteries, written by Ezra Bertrand. And then I kind of followed those breadcrumbs to the Womb Awakening book. And then once I started reading that, it just blew it all open for me, because you read these things, and I love how this is called remembrance, because that is exactly what that feeling is once you get there. And even if you don't have the words or any way to articulate it or intellectualize it, that's the whole point of it, is that it's like a magnetic thread. There's something that stirs in you that's not new. You know what I mean? It's something that no matter where you're at in life. So yeah, I've been on this journey specifically in the feminine realm of healing and whatnot for close to 2 years now. And I've just finished my apprenticeship and my facilitator training over the past year with the Institute of Feminine Arts. And yeah, I do have to speak on my lineage, because that's a huge part of you think of the branch, the web, the roots of women in general. It's just really honoring the interconnectedness of it. And it doesn't belong to me or you or anyone else. It is all of us. So yes, I pay my respects to my teacher, who actually received the work from Seren and Ezra Bertrand, who wrote the Womb Awakening book. And when they finished their journey with it, they passed it on to her to continue teaching. So that's that side of it. And I know we already paid our respects to country, but I would like to share my appreciation and gratitude for being able to share this with you while I am on Dharawal land, and pay respects to all elders, past, present, and emerging. All right, so I'm getting my nerves out. We're getting there. Okay, so I don't want to make any assumptions. So just wanted to kind of gauge, and even with you, Kelly, where your journey, the remembrance journey in itself with womb work and womb awakening and the feminine, wisdom and things like that, where would be good for me to kind of jump in?
We haven't done lots of like any specific womb awakening work, but we have talked about a lot about the feminine cycles, and we've had a masterclass with Jane Hardwick Collins.
Oh, perfect.
And so definitely, and like as you said, that idea of picking up the threads, very much like the wise women tradition of like feminine approach to healing rather than this masculine, but nothing specific where we're dropping into the womb or anything like that. So we're very much ready to devour anything that you've got to share on that.
That's cool. And so are you happy if I kind of talk about things and then we have a conversation and things like that, or would you rather just
you
go, or do you want to
whatever feels good for you, my love? Take us through and invite us in when you feel like you want a bit of back and forth.
Okay, beautiful. Because I feel like I get so excited with all of the knowledge and the information, and I just go here, there, and everywhere, but let's keep it as in flow as we can.
We'll interrupt you if we need to, like,
yes, please go
devour a morsel more, deeply.
Beautiful. So I think I will pick up talking about that thread. The question that you might ask is, when you connect with that and when you have that sense of knowing, is to consider where in your body you would be feeling it, and going back to the difference between the masculine approach to spirituality or healing, which has its place. We all have that duality within ourselves of shifting in and out of that when we need to. The difference with the feminine is that it asks us to feel it all, to really get somatic with it. And so one of the things that I actually found relieving when I came into the work and I started doing these kind of practices and things like that is that there wasn't so much overthinking, analyzing, putting a story to it. What does it mean? It's really more of a somatic exploration. Okay, where is this in my body? Can I just sit with it here without, put the monkey mind at the back seat kind of thing? And if you are, when we're working with the story of it, let's say, rather than approaching it from a talk therapy point of view, we use more of a shamanic exploration, which, if you go back to the origins of shamanism, the women were the original shamans, especially through being able to reach different states of lunar consciousness, different stages of our cycle, especially when we're in our bleed, is when we can have a far deeper access to that. But in terms of the womb itself, when we talk about trauma and how that can be stored, when we're looking at the womb, it's not just our living lifetime, and it's not just, how we all existed in our grandmother, for example. It's not just through our direct lineage. We have imprints of women as a collective for hundreds of years, thousands of years even, which is why this work is so important now. And again, that word remembrance is so poignant in any piece of work that you pick up with this feminine consciousness, because that's what it is. And if you've had Jane on the call and you guys have looked into her work and everything, then knowing that whole piece of history and how feminine worship and womb worship was, squashed and covered up and altered and changed and destroyed. It's not a new thing. We have it all within ourselves, and we've had it all along. And I think that no matter, you probably all agree, no matter what our different stories are, however we have been, hurt or affected by anything, there's still that underlying thread, again, of connection and a way that we can relate to each other in that same way. Does that make sense? No matter what we've been through. And when we talk about the womb, aside from just picturing it as your physical womb, which, by the way, it doesn't matter if you don't have a physical womb, if you've gone through, any traumas or anything that have injured your womb, it's the energy that we hold there. And it's not just what is in our physical body, but if we look at the universe and life itself as the womb in general. I was actually just, when I was getting in the zone and kind of ruminating over everything before the call, I was out just looking out the window there to my garden. And I thought it's a complete mirroring what we're seeing out there and what we have within. Even in our ancient cultures, if they didn't have the capacity to have they weren't at the stage where they had a written, organized religion, but all of the earliest idolatry, it's all feminine structures and womb worship. You think of a seed, and I think of gestation and germination. It's exactly the same. We are mirrored in nature, and everything that we're seeing outside we can bring to ourselves as well. It's all the same. Everything is birthed through the cosmic womb. Yes, I'm just going to check my notes here. Okay, and so everything and all possibility is held in a womb. When we think of our dream states, when we're going to sleep, that's when we can kind of access all possibility, even when we don't have necessarily control over what we are experiencing, what we're creating in our dream state. We are naturally attuned. Our neurocircuitry is at its most comfortable when we're in that lunar state, once again, with our cycles, with the moon and whatnot. And so when we imagine that there is stagnancy and blockages from our heart to our womb, that comes up in all aspects of our life. How we experience our womb is essentially how we're going to experience the world. And that can shift on a day-to-day basis as well. Like, I don't know, Kelly, if you resonate, but sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm just not having it. You're feeling like shit, whatever it is. And you kind of look around the day like that as well. Like it's a complete reflection of how you're feeling inside. And then other days you wake up and you're like, yeah, like today is amazing. I'm feeling so good. And you look at the world and it's like, you smile, the world smiles back kind of thing. And so when our innate self in our womb is feeling blocked off, we're not going to be in our naturally like juicy and creative and lit up state. Let's go to another page here. Let me think. Okay, so yeah, that's our natural way that we want to be experiencing the world, is in that full flow and that full creation. But patriarchal society, conditioning and whatnot has us put in an area of existence that says we can't express our full flow. We can't be in joy all the time. We can't be in a flow all the time because we have to do this and we have to do that. And I know, Kelly, you speak a lot into the importance of rest when you're called to. And as much as you want to will yourself to get to a point of a big energy and I need to do this, I need to show up for my kids, or I have to get this done, I have to get that done. Not only are you just burning yourself out more, but you're limiting that natural flow of what wants to come through anyway. So I'll just take you through really quickly the 7 key principles of womb awakening, just a kind of idea of how this spiral and all these different components can come through. So we've already touched on how the womb is kind of the birth of the collective energy of the world. We're all birthed through females. There's not a human on this earth that didn't come through, a female womb. And even males themselves in the womb, I think it's the first maybe 1 to 8 weeks or so where there is no determined sex. And so at the end of that period of gestation, you're either going to have what would be the penis, which will protrude or retract into the clitoris and grow into what will be the clitoris. And so men have something else that I feel is really important, is to not forget about the men, because when we're talking about the energy of masculine and feminine, they exist in both of us. And it's not, when we're talking about masculine, feminine in terms of energy, that's not a biological, what's the word, definition when we're talking about this. Okay, we've talked about the womb religion calling for remembrance, and how all of that idolatry was feminine based, and womb worship, ancient feminine resurrections. So I think that it's perfect how you've connected. We can connect a lot of this with Jane's work. So obviously we are cyclical beings, and just as the moon has its cycles, we naturally are going to be moving with those as well. Okay, here's another important thing that we need to talk about with our wombs and our connection to our sexual energy, is that we have been talked to in a way that tells us that sexual energy is something that is taboo, and that our womb and the yoni and whatnot is something that is only, what we feel through there is only of a sexual nature, when really we need to be tuning in and listening. When something lights you up or something really excites you, that section below your navel, you might get that feeling in your stomach or in that sacral area. And so when we reconnect with our womb and we reignite that pulse and we tune into that, we can see that just in another way that, the feminine has been kind of demonized and whatnot. There's so much more there for us to explore and feel and experience than just, a procreation or of sexual nature. It enlivens absolutely all of us. And I want to share with you, I've got a little picture here that I've drawn out. So what I'm going to be doing today, now that I've got all the talky bit out of the way, what I'm going to be doing with you is firstly taking you through some sounding grail gates, which will show you how there are frequencies and vibrations that can directly connect with different areas anatomically of the womb and the yoni and all those different parts of yourself. And this can be a simple way, without getting into everything too theoretically, of being able to reconnect with your body. Because I know I can say for myself that feeling disconnected and dissociating, especially as women, if we've experienced sexual trauma, any kind of abuse, anything like that, our bodies physically, and our brains have mechanisms of protecting ourselves. And even though it might seem daunting and painful to go there, as women being fully expressed, our bodies are asking us and yearning for us to reconnect, feel that, allow it to come through so that we can transmute it and so that it can dissipate. And Kelly, you be teaching this as well, talking about how all of the things that we repress are going to express themselves in physical ailments, in health issues, chronic health issues. There's a huge one for emotional, like that's usually a chronic health and emotional repression. We don't want them to go hand in hand, but they do, unfortunately. And so any kind of small practices or moments where you can connect in with your body is going to help bridge that at all. It doesn't have to be complicated. And so with the sound, with the sounding of the Grail gates, there'll be different articulations, different consonants, different vowels and tones that when we're doing this, you can join in now. That I'd love you to, just so you could feel it and experience it, or, you know, rewatch it or do it in your own time, experiment with different words. But to just notice that if you're inviting that, and you have the open mind and willing heart to bring that in, that you can find that connection there. And so we've got the 8 sacred gateways, and I have drawn it. It's not so much important for you to know and memorize any of this, but it's just so I can show you the shape of how this is obviously going to be backwards, but it essentially will move from, so each of these gates have an archetype or a connection that also correlate with a physical part of your anatomy. And so it'll go from, it's from the outside in. So it'll go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, across to 5, up to 6, 7, and then right here in the middle, 8 is your cosmic womb. So I can send a picture of this. There's anything that you think might be helpful, Kelly, I can send across to you and you can distribute to everyone. So that's not so much important with what we're doing right now, but it's just to give you an idea of how it ascends, goes inwards, and we're starting from the outside and moving deeper in. Again, the opposite of if we were doing, more of an destruction of ego-based spiritual practice where we're going outwards. We want to leave, you want to leave the body, you want to ascend and whatnot. We are going in, which is, again, a perfect mirror of going into the womb. We're going into the Great Mother. Okay, so I will get you to take some really beautiful grounding breaths here. So if you could just pop your left hand on your heart, right hand on your womb. Now, right hand is our masculine side. So we're bringing that beautiful balance in by having our masculine to our womb and our feminine left hand to our heart. Visualization is a huge part of this. Once again, moving out of our bodies. And so we'll take a big breath in through the nose. And exhale. And when you breathe in, I'd love you to imagine bringing in this warm golden light that's flowing from your heart in the shape of an infinity down into your womb. And if you've never breathed with the visualization or intention of bringing your breath and energy into a particular body part, that's okay. And if it doesn't come naturally in this moment, that's fine. Exactly everything that you're picking up from this is perfectly what is required for you right now. And in these breaths, just get curious with any sensations that may arise in your sacral area. And bringing those together in that beautiful union. And on your last exhale, let out whatever sound needs to come from you right now. Anything audible. Gently opening our eyes. So would you all feel comfortable doing this with your mics off, or would you like to come together and bring those sounds together, or what do you think would be beneficial right now, Kelly? These mantras.
The wind.
Yep. Okay. I think you're
going.
stuttering a bit too.
Oh, you paused. Also, it was quite funny because there's some young girls that must be playing soccer or something down there.
Oh.
And when you asked what noise my womb wanted to make, I went to go make a noise. And then they just went, ee!
Oh.
Is that
you are glitching a little bit. I don't know if I am as well. I'll just wait for your next let's go and then I'll get into it. See, I'm much more comfortable with the flow of the practices than the talking about the... Funny. Oh, now we're overlapping. All right. We're all good?
Okay. Perfect. I'm just going to... stay on you.
Maybe just tell me if you're ready for me to go ahead. Maybe just tell me in the chat because I can't hear at all and I don't want you to miss out. Let's see. Oh, now you're... All right. I don't know if you can hear me, but I've just typed, shall I go ahead? Oh, never mind. Reading and comprehension. Okay. All right. So this first sacred grail gate, which is down the bottom here, is our maiden or the grail knight. But I think for our conversation today, I won't confuse or bulk it up by doing our masculine alternatives. Again, I can share more of this if you like later, Kelly, but I'll just keep it with what's relative for us in the feminine. So this is our maiden, and our keywords here, which you could probably naturally pick up on what you evoke when you're thinking of maiden, is innocence, playfulness, openness, enthusiasm, joy, beauty, sensitivity. And so the sacred site in our womb that this sound will match up with is our clitoris and lips of the yoni. So you can quite easily envision that we are beginning our inwards journey right from the outer edges. So if you want to just, however you are comfortable, you don't need to move around if you don't want to, but if you're all comfortable, the sound, the mantra that we are going to be making, and I'll ask you to close your eyes for these ones. I'll repeat it once and then you can bring it back and we can repeat it together as long as you're comfortable. So our mantra for this and what we're envisioning is that the vibration directly connects with this area of the body that we're speaking of. So here we have the clitoris and the lips of the yoni. And so our sound for this one is I'll do that one more time and then you can take it through. I'll give you some time to do that on your own. And really feel how that connects. One more time. Beautiful. Our second grail gate is the queen or the lover or the mother. And here we have pleasure, passion, gratitude, fertility, creation, abundance, generosity. And the spot that we will be connecting with, the space anatomically within, is the G spot. So this sound here, once again, is going to resonate with this part of our body. And this one is Una, N-A-G-H, Una, Una. So as we continue through here, toning in itself is a very relaxing somatic practice. So even if you weren't connecting this with your womb, I know Kelly, it's a big part of yoga with the, the mantras and the toning. It's another way that you can, get out of the monkey mind and really connect in your body. So our intention as we move through this is that you're going to feel, well, almost like you've got this beautiful frequency coming through you, but it's also taking us away from just the concept of, oh, how do we connect to the womb? This is a way that we can get there without thinking, really. Okay, so our third one is our crone, the magician. So words that you would correlate with the crone, you might have wisdom, benevolence, power, initiation, a new rite of passage, wisdom, respect, alchemy. And now we are further in at the cervix. So when we're toning now, visualize that connection and that frequency naturally matching and melding with the cervix. And this one is Shikara, S-H-K-A-R-A. Shikara. And really use your voice. Shikara. So now we've gone through those first 3 Grail gates with our feminine archetypes. We're moving now to the earth element or Gaia's womb. We've made our way from the clitoris, the lips, to the G-spot, the cervix. Now we enter the womb, which is, if you were to visualize now anatomically, the magnetic floor of the womb. So this is the south here within that womb. So we've got safety in there, grounding, sensuality, knowing, security. We're held. And our mantra for this one is Aduma. And you can hear how these sounds have moved from more of a thinner type of sound. Now we've gone in, they're deepening. There's more of an opening here. Aduma. Aduma. So at this point, it might be interesting to reflect on how our throat and our wombs anatomically, the cervix and the throat when we are in the womb are connected. And then as we grow, separate. So throat chakra is a huge typically with women, that can be a big blockage. We've had our voices taken, we've been suppressed and whatnot. So no matter how you're experiencing this practice now, opening up your voice and your throat and finding your throat is naturally opening and connecting to the womb. And if we have a repressed and a blocked throat chakra, or our voice is repressed and suppressed, most likely you have sacral suppression and womb blockages as well. So for women, even if you don't have a ... practice, use your voice more. It doesn't have to be towards anyone. It can just be at home, singing, dancing, toning like this, anything. Okay, so moving on now, we've got our fire element, full moon, solar energy, giving, creative, passionate, shining, wild, and fire is transformational. And here we move to the right ovary. So we want to bring that energy in and feel that connection with these frequencies in our voice connecting to our ovary. And our mantra here has more of a melody to it. It's all the same note, but we're going to be singing Hera Hom. And hold that as long as you need to, that Hera Hom. Number 6 is our air element, which is essentially the conception portal. And we have here inspiration, possibility, new life, truth, discernment. And here in the yoni, this is the ceiling of the womb. So we've just come from the floor to the right ovary, and now, well, this is probably opposite for me here, and we're going up to the ceiling. And here our mantra is Elura, Elura, Elura. Moving now to the next, we have the water element. So this is our dark or new moon. We have intuition, the flow of life, clairsentience during this stage, surrender, compassion, mystery, and the holy chalice. And for the 7th, we move to our left ovary. And our sound here is similar to what we just came from. Waluna, Waluna. Connecting now with our left ovary. Waluna. The 8th and final is the center of the womb, the cosmic portal, the void itself, where there is all possibility. It's the center the very center of all that is, ever was, ever will be. It all exists in infinite possibility here. And this one, it makes perfect sense. It's the primordial mantra of Om, of all that is and all of creation. So that will be a nice easy one for you here. But you imagine that we've gone all through the womb, inner, outer, and now we are in with the cosmic womb. And so we will chant our mantra. Oh. And you keep bringing that forth a few times. So something to consider is how on a day-to-day basis, our wounds are not really something that most women would give much thought to. Even how we relate to our bleeds, it's just something to be put to the side, dealt with, rushed, when we know that that's not really how we are supposed to experience it. So even the small act of just exploring the thought or attempting to have a physical or a breath connected connection with our womb is so powerful in itself. We know, our anatomy there and everything, but to think of it outside of that and think in terms of energy, I don't know if you maybe felt anything there in any of those specific areas. You might have noticed that one, maybe an ovary or maybe the clitoris or the wall, is where you may have felt something. That can give you a clue into where there might have just been energy that needed to be held, really. And that's the beautiful thing with the feminine. We're not sitting here going, oh yes, I really felt something there in that ovary, I need to fix, change, improve. It's just beautifully holding that energy there, shining that loving light there. That's all we need sometimes, especially, being told to go through the world so structurally, to do this, to improve. We just want to hold, we just want to express, and we just want to feel it for ourselves. So Kelly, if you want to hop off mute.
That was so amazing. It felt, and it's so timely for me because I feel like I could say so much about this just from hearing that practice.
Yeah, I'd love to.
First of all, glad I didn't set up at the cafe, because even though nobody would have known what I was doing, part of me almost set up at the cafe down the road. So I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I came to the garden. Perfect. It's almost kind of like a little womb space here in the round seating circle.
Beautiful.
But it was like I felt different parts coming online, and it's something I've worked with off and on in regards to putting my awareness in that space, but not consistently. And I've definitely, it was definitely online after the birth of my daughter, but as time progressed and then and even more, especially since my cycles come back, it's like I've lost that connection to it in some ways, which sounds counterintuitive. And I've noticed that I really, just lately, I've really been thinking about how I want to do more work to wake this area up. And I could feel each part coming online. And that felt really beautiful. And I'm really grateful for that. But also I had heard, I had learned that our throat and our cervix, the muscle, the areas of muscle look very similar, and that there's such a connection there.
Sorry, but I'm trying to get out the doggy door, by the way.
That's all right. But I didn't know they were connected at but when we were in the womb. And I always find that so beautiful, like learning about what comes from where embryonically, because I think it teaches us so much about ourselves. But we do a lot of singing in our plant medicine circles, and I kind of say to the women, like, a big part of this is because we need to use our voice more, but having that extra connection point to why, to bring us more down into that womb space, feels really, it's kind of like I hear you say that and I'm like, of course.
Yeah, it's so
of
affirming.
course. So
and
yeah,
that's exactly what that thread is. You're not, you share this with me and you're not sharing it from a point of, oh wow, this is new information, or like when I would read things or I would feel things, it's not new. It's like, that's it, of course, like it's right there,
the remembering of who we are. Yeah, it's so powerful. And I think that really, really important. So thank you.
I'm glad that you received that, because I obviously feel really passionate about these practices and knowing what they can give, because everything that I'm facilitating and that I'm teaching, I've gone through a period of having to experience those and go through those on my own. It's not just conceptual, okay, I've read this, I'm going to go and da-da-da. It's receiving the medicine yourself to then be able to, kind of gift that, but it's not even gifting because it doesn't belong to anyone. Like, it's just what we have within. So however you all received that or receive that, if you follow along on the replay, just trust that it's exactly what you needed to take. It's exactly the medicine that was required in that moment.
You just reminded me of something else as well, Rosalia, in that I was sitting here and I was doing it and I heard some guys walk past just here at the other side of the garden, and I felt myself feel silly. And it also made me realize that, like, we were talking about, I think in Remembrance, in one of our gatherings, how, we sometimes feel silly making noise and we feel silly using our voice. And if we haven't got a beautiful voice or a perfect voice, then where our culture often makes us feel as if then we shouldn't be singing or we shouldn't be making sound. And so we lose, because we don't practice using our capacity to become resonant. And it just, like, I don't know, diving into that, it just made me realize how deep that wounding is if we think about that from a perspective of connecting it to the womb and our creative aspirations and the things we might wish to birth, and that feeling silly, oh no, I'm not going to, because it's not resonant yet and I haven't practiced birthing these creations yet. And so much. So it just, I can see more levels there than perhaps so it's really interesting to watch that come up.
And do you feel so something else, I'm not sure if I've shared this with you, actually yes I have, but I come from a musical background and a professional singing background. In terms of, technically warming up your voice, you can feel it, but I want to ask, after having that practice, can you feel that warmth or almost honey, I call it like a honeyed feeling in the throat moving through? Like, how would you express what that feels like for you?
I didn't actually think about it in regards to from here down, but that's a really, and I don't know if anybody else as they were doing it did either, but that's something to really reflect on and go back over the practice. And because I like that idea of it being more about opening this pathway between the two areas.
And even in having this conversation with you now, like, I feel like my energy and just how I feel in my body, not as, me, the person, the label or whatever, but just in terms of energy and somatically, feels very calm and safe and very open. So I wanted to see where you felt like you wanted this to go from here, because Kelly and I we didn't set up a plan for this. And I love that, because that's how I try to go with things, even though it feels more daunting. I've come from, as I spoke of before, I've come from a lifetime of planning, making it all so perfect, rehearsing, this and that. And I didn't do anything aside from nut out a structure of what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, again, part of the whole embodiment is moving forth in that vulnerability of, hey, whatever comes through right now is exactly what's supposed to come through. But I did have a plan just to finish off with a journey, a shamanic journey, if everyone would be interested in that. Is that something you'd like to do? Or
yeah, that sounds great. Were there any questions or reflections from anybody else? How did you go, Lisa?
Just unmute myself, sorry. Yeah, I found it really lovely, really warm. I felt really relaxed during the process of going through the different, the different centres, or I can't recall what they're actually called again, but yeah, just beautiful. Oh, yeah, and I found it very, very interesting what you were saying as well, Kel, about the connection with the cervix and the throat. Makes a lot of sense to me. It kind of resonates on a number of levels. So, yeah, really, really pleased to be present and to hear that, for me to connect the dots.
Mm. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm hoping this might resonate for anyone listening back, that maybe they didn't do it either because they felt embarrassed about making the noise with everyone in their house. And I want to ask, can we take a moment to just move through all of them in flow, like maybe just do it once more? Like, we don't need to talk through specifically everything we just spoke through, but could we just sing through them once more in flow?
Yeah,
and
I love that idea.
Own some space, and if anyone else listening didn't do it either, own the second round space and vocalize.
That's so interesting, Elisa, to hear that. I know that singing is a big thing for you and something that you've been really reclaiming lately. And so
my daughter was crying as well at the time, so I was in this space of like, get out, no, stay, get up.
Yes.
And so I just decided participate quietly was the answer. But yes, I hear you in that as well, that I didn't continue owning the space. And that's why I was like, just ask again. Ask if we can do it again.
Yes, and I love that. It's just perfect. You used your voice. So would you like me to just go through the mantras? Do you want me to remind which part anatomically, or you just want to trust and will intuitively know where we're connecting with?
I think, just go through.
Yeah, I feel like I'll remember the anatomically because I just, thank you.
Amazing. I'm so glad you said that. All right, let's do it then. So we'll close our eyes down. Nice and comfortable. And so we know how many times until we move on. I think we'll do them each 3 times. Okay, so we'll start with 3 deep breaths with our intention of feeling these frequencies and vibrations opening up to love and the womb. Una. 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 Shikara. 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 Aduma. 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 Hera home. Hera home. Hera home. Elura. 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 Waluna. 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 Om. 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 I'm going to say that felt a bit different to when we did it the first time, didn't it? Elisa, was that better? Did you feel like you received what you had intended with that?
Yeah, thank you so much for moving through it again.
Yeah.
I think in particular, the moving through in a less thinking brain space, just moving through it vocally was quite special. So thank you.
Oh, amazing. I love it. Beautiful. So there are quite a few physical and somatic practices that we can move through. Like that's more of a connective one. And when we're going through a spiral or we're deep in a womb awakening or a womb healing journey, we move through firstly connecting the heart and the womb, because that's what we have felt disconnected from and felt lost from. We connect first, and then we can do more of what's the word, an excavative practice, and those different kinds of practices that can take you through all the different levels of these somatic imprints and what we cellularly hold. Like I spoke on in the beginning, it's not just what we may have experienced or even our mothers or our grandmothers that has come through to us. It's hundreds of years and thousands of years. It's collective. And so Magna Mater, or Great Mother, that's what it means. It's magnetic mother. And so when the feminine was whole, and when women were living in this way and expressing and experiencing life in this way, you have the magnetism, you have, Magna, and then Mater, which is mother. And again, they are those two symbiotic pieces. You have the magnetism, the sensuality, the creativity, the prowess. Easily you could look at them as your full moon and your new moon. And then Mater, which is, mother, the nurturing, the innocent, the calm, the holding, and we bring those together. So essentially what we're wanting to do now is reconnect as Magna Mater, whether you have children or not. We birth projects, we birth things all the time. It doesn't have to relate to a physical gestation. And so, yeah, that's really what we're wanting to reconnect with, and giving ourselves permission to experience life in that way. It's interesting, Kelly, you spoke about how you felt quite connected after the birth of your daughter and moving in and out of feeling connected. When you said that sparked this remembrance, this remembrance in me of how after I had my second son, so I had never had a cycle before that regularly. My first two children were born. I was on medication and fertility treatment, which was the first call prior to having to go through a physical IVF. But I didn't receive my menarche until I was 15, which is, I suppose biologically you'd consider that a little later. And then I'd be lucky if I had one bleed a year. So I didn't really have the experience of, inner seasons and any idea of that connectedness. And it was only after my bleed returned, when I had ceased breastfeeding, that I have been regular ever since. So I think that was a thread that definitely tied in as well. And so now, as a woman in my 30s, I'm experiencing all of these initiations that women and girls do when they're so young. And so, yeah, just wanted to mention that as well, because, yeah, I can really relate to having those moments of, wow, there's something so much deeper here than just a physical occurrence every month. Do we have time, do you think, what's your time frame, how we're running at the moment, if we were to go through a journey, and would everyone be comfortable with that?
We have up to 4:30, so.
Okay, I think I can make it work. Yeah, that'll be fine. Do we already feel like we are, connected and sitting deeply in, that would be able to drop in without having to go through a whole breathing practice prior? What do you feel? Yeah.
I'm just going to find a move a little bit. So you'll just see me moving around. I'm going to find a quieter spot to sit.
Yeah. I might test out while we're here that you have made it possible for me to share my sound. So I'm going to pop on. Is there music coming through for you all? Is it clear? Yay. Okay, beautiful. I might pop it a bit lower. Can you hear my speech and the music evenly? It's not distracting. Okay, so this is a journey that I created a while back that I felt, and I had told Kelly I think would work perfectly with this, because it's just one way you journey and receive. And, in closing your remembrance circle, you are receiving this little gem of wisdom, or whatever it is that you need to move forward with your connection. All right, I'm going to get my script up. Okay. So it's perfectly fine if you want to sit for this or lay down. I'll give you a few minutes just to get comfortable, however you feel you will best receive and best be able to drop in and leave the rational monkey mind behind. Elisa, I know I can't see you, but I'm going to gauge that you're ready. And if everyone could just give me a gentle nod if you're in your perfect position. Beautiful. Okay. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils, filling yourself with a beautiful golden light. And as you exhale through your mouth, I want you to envision any tension that came before, any heaviness. With each exhale, picture it all dissipating with the release of your breath. Moving out of thought, placing them to the side, knowing you can come back and collect them when we're done. Noticing how your body feels. Pressing softly into the floor or the chair, knowing that you are cradled so safely and held in love by the earth. Breathing deeper. Paying attention to how your belly moves, rises and falls with each depth, the depth of your breath. And you find yourself with each breath relaxing deeper and deeper into relaxation. Feeling the air as it enters your nostril. And with each breath, you continue to fall deeper and deeper into a state of complete relaxation. Visualize yourself standing now at the top of a beautiful grassy hill, a warm breezy day, and you breathe in the balmy air deep into your body. And you're drawn to a particularly soft patch of grass surrounded by golden wildflowers. And you cannot help now but lay down and close your eyes on this warm hill. The sun is so warm and washes down over your body with this beautiful breeze. The warmth of the sun bathing your skin in golden light. And as the sun warms your toes and your feet, you feel so safe and blissful that they simply melt into golden light. And you feel the sun wash over your legs, your knees, dissolving into beautiful golden light as it travels up your thighs, into your beautiful sacred womb, washing over you, your torso, through your chest, breathing deeply, and down your arms, right to your very fingertips. The warmth travels your neck, your face, through your nostrils as you breathe deeper, and right through to the very top of your crown, bathing you now from your crown all the way down to your toes in beautiful golden light. And now in complete and safe surrender, you feel yourself merging and sinking into the womb of the earth. You feel so safe, so loved and peaceful. And as you travel deeper and deeper through this earth portal, you know that you are exactly where you need to be right now. And as you breathe deeply, you smile in anticipation of your wondrous destination. And now settling once again onto solid ground. This time, the earth is damp and warm, and it smells sweet like dew and honey. And you take a few breaths to breathe in your enchanting and warm surroundings. As you look around, you realize you have entered a sacred and magical place, a place made just for you. The air is sweet and soothing, and there is a glow emanating through the trees and the earth, full of color. What sensations arise? How does this place make you feel? You curiously walk towards a lush lagoon where the water is glistening like nothing you've ever seen before. And it is a deeply serene picture. You tread towards the water's edge, the earth so mossy and balmy beneath your feet. You can hear the gentle cascade of waters flowing over the rocks. And you sit now with your feet outstretched as they gently dance and swirl in the water. Breathing in your surroundings. Your gaze falls upon the water and you decide to take a refreshing swim. As you wade into the beautiful waters, you notice a small object further out at the bottom of the lagoon. You can't quite make out what this object is, but somehow it looks lovingly familiar to you. And taking a deep breath, you dive down towards the object, recognizing it now as you swim closer, eyes wide in wonder, arms outstretched, your fingers curl around this object. And as soon as you grasp this item, you are reminded of exactly what it means to you. How do you feel about this object? Brilliantly, the lagoon gently begins to drain. And as the water draws lower and lower, you gently sink down with it until you are standing and the water is all but gone. To your amazement, you realize that this base of the lagoon is a great hall made entirely of dreamy alabaster and pearl. The walls and pillars are carved with intricate drawings and patterns. And as you walk through this place, you trace your hands over these remarkable details. You notice a spiral staircase made of stone, lined with gold, winding down and deeper into the earth. And as you walk down these steps, lower and lower down these spiral stones, you reach a heavy golden door. You search for a handle, but there isn't one, only a uniquely shaped indent right in the center. You turn your palm over and see that the object you found in the lagoon matches the shape on this door. Pressing your object into this wondrous door, it opens only for you, just for you. Making your way down through the doorway, you find yourself entering a cave, lit only by a warm fire pit, encircled by stone seats. Standing by the fire is a person. You know this person, and they hold great significance on your journey. They motion for you to join them and sit by the fire, warm smiles and kind eyes greeting you. You breathe this person in. What emotions are you feeling in this moment? You walk up to this person and they embrace you with so much love and tenderness. You are safe. You are loved and you are protected. You hold each other just as long as you need. A few moments more. You sit beside them and begin to talk. And as you listen, you can hear their voice so clearly and steadily. Your special person, this person who has come here just for you, is speaking to you, sharing something important. And as you listen deeply with both your heart and your womb, what are they saying? What do they have to share with you? You feel deeply grateful for having met with this special person today. And as you smile at each other, you acknowledge in that moment that it is time for you to return to the surface of the earth. You and your person walk up towards the golden door, knowing this is where they must lovingly leave you. You embrace once again. And now they whisper some final words to you. Walking through the golden door, you wave goodbye and watch them return to the fire pit. The golden door closes. You remove your object from it, taking it once more into your hand. A gift now to carry with you in your waking life as a symbol of love and remembrance and connection. Looking up now, you begin your journey back up the gold-lined spiral staircase, higher and higher until you reach the final stone, leading you back up to that beautiful hall. You look around and glance up through the glistening ceiling of that lagoon. Wondering now how you may make your way back to the surface. Pearls begin collecting around your feet, transforming into beautiful liquid. And you feel yourself floating with these calm and loving waters, rising back up to the surface of the lagoon, feeling so safe, so loved, weightless, light, and fulfilled. You are carried peacefully up into the sunshine in complete tranquility. You swim gently back to the land, and that warm, damp earth is once again so welcoming. And you are cradled and lifted higher and higher, back through Mother Earth's womb, up to the surface. You feel deeply blissful and content. And taking a deep breath, you sense where you are once again. On that beautiful grassy hill. You can feel the warm sunlight bathing your skin once again. Breathing deeply, fresh, renewing air into your nostrils. Filling your belly as the light dances over your arms, your hands. Noticing different sensations return once again to your earthly body. Breathing awareness gently into your fingers, your hips, your thighs, legs, torso, all bathed once again in beautiful golden light. And as the light reaches your face, your neck, and up to the top of your crown, you might like to roll your neck from side to side. And move your shoulders now. However, your body would like to return to this present moment. Keeping your eyes closed. Move however your body wishes to intuitively in this moment. You might like to take this moment to dance or move without structure or judgment. However you would like to move right now in perfect fluidity. And as you move, just take a moment to reflect and soak in your experience, knowing that you can return here anytime you like. Now opening your eyes up gently. When you're ready, we're going to take a deep breath in and raise our arms up and just give ourselves a big hug. Hold yourself however you need to right now. Give yourself gratitude for the presence and the space that you just created for yourself, where there was nothing for you to do, nothing at all to do, but everything to receive. I'm so grateful to have been able to share that with you. Let's turn this music off.
Thank you so much, Beauty.
Sorry,
So
just went over a touch.
That's okay. I will wrap up very quickly. So thank you so much for being here, Rosalia. It's such an honor to host you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for the offering.
For those of you that want to catch the replay and do any of this work again, it will be up in the next 24 hours. And yeah, thank you, Rosalia. Really
you're so welcome. I hope you will float into the rest of your afternoon now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I find myself with children for the rest of the day, so it'll be just what I need. All right. Thank you to those of you who've been here. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was going to say, if anyone had anything that they wanted to jot down after something like that, I would encourage you after this to take, if you still have a few moments to yourself, and if you like to journal, to just explore what you might have felt, or how you experienced that.
Beautiful. Always a good idea after such a deep journey, I think. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rosalia. Thank you, those of you who are here live. And I will be in the chat with you, and I will chat to you very soon, Rosalia. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.
Thank you.